Hey everybody, Scroft here. Welcome back to Farming Simulator 25. It's that time again where we take a look at something in FS25, one of the most talked about features that has appeared in the game, which is ground deformation. So we're going to be taking a focus just on that. Now, ground deformation I've seen firsthand in the game. You've probably seen it from a few of my episodes on the channel if you've been keeping up to date with it. And it looks outstanding. It actually does a really clever job, and it's not only the ground that we can deform, it's also fill types. So we're going to take a look at things. I've set up the scene ready to go. We're going to look through the weather. We're going to finally end on some snow, but stick with me. We'll take a good look at it. Now, let's talk about what we know about ground deformation. The way it works is that top layer of the soil, top layer of the ground, depending on the ground type, can be deformed. Think of it like a layer of Play-Doh. So it can be adjusted, transformed, depending on the vehicle, the weight, the tyre size, the weather as well. So if it's wet, it should change the way it appears, the ground deformation. Also, one big question we got after FarmCon was how long does it last? Initially, it was hinted like it was like the tyre effect that we currently have in FS22, where over time it will disappear. Now, from first-hand experience and testing it out, I've sometimes done like a 2-hour gameplay stint, drove around, done a bit of a circle maybe at the start, and then by the end of that stint, so 2 hours later, it's still there. Now, I have tested out by jumping out of game and coming back in again, and unfortunately, it does disappear. But we're going to test that out. I'll show you in the video as I jump out the game. You'll hopefully see that for yourself. But it is interesting because not only is it the ground type, that top layer, I think it was 12.5 centimeters in the game technically is kind of like deformed area that can be molded, transformed, whatever you want to call it. Technically that can be ground. That is the part that applies to ground deformation. So like a 12.5 centimeter area, they could think that's just moldable depending on the weight and everything. So that's how to kind of see it and think of it. And obviously if you're over concrete or tarmac, nothing will happen. But if you're over soft ground like this, which is why I've set this field here to ploughed, it should have an effect. Also, a really interesting thing is the fact that it's not just the ground. We can also kind of shape and deform piles that are on the ground, like fill types, which is why I've put some straw over there to show you that firsthand. So I'm going to try my best to showcase this. There's not much else we can do with it really to test it out. It's just about showcasing it. So I've got a few vehicles varying in weight, also two the exact same vehicles, but what I've done is put a front and rear weight on and changed the weight on the rear axle. So that should increase the depth that happens. But the first thing I want to do before we go and test out what I've got set up over there, I want to just quickly do an initial blast in this field over here, because I want to see right at the end if it's still there, and then you can judge for yourself how long it's going to last. Obviously I don't want to be playing for 2 hours or something like that, because the video has got to pretty much have a reasonable time frame. But we're going to just do a bit of a loop here, and first thing you'll see is ground deformation in action if you've never actually seen it before, but I'll be very surprised if you haven't. But with this class area, we're just going to go and do a bit of a loop, and then we're going to come back out again. And we'll stop here. So, as you can probably tell, this is ground deformation. You can see that by looking down, we've lost, like, the top layer just a little bit's been flattened out. There's a few bumps, and it's not too bad. And the reason for that is that class Arian hasn't got much weight. I think it's about 5 ton, where we've got, like, nearly a 20 ton Veltra over there, and I think originally it's like 11, but I put some rear weights on the rear axle and a rear weight here and a front weight there that's brought it to around 20 tons. So that's obviously going to have a bigger impact. Also, it's dry. It's quite nice weather. We're in September, but the sun is out, so we're going to see what it's like in rain, and then also we'll see what it's like maybe, I don't know, maybe in the snow. But I know we're going to try out snow anyway. So let's drive over there. We've got that as a reference point to come back to, hoping that it's going to stick around. And we can have a look at surfaces like this now as we transfer over. So we've got, looks like a tiny bit of concrete mixed in with some, I don't know, forestry kind of ground type. Now, these are textures that have been applied to the map. That's not ground deformation. But if we run back now, you can see that it's more of a tyre track. There's something maybe mild there, but it's nothing that's been like really impressionable. Whereas that, now that is ground deformation. And there's a few more because it's a more of a a softer surface there. So that's just giving you an example of the different types and how it's going to, you know, have an effect with this, for example, that we're on right now, the kind of like concrete and tarmac. We're not going to see anything, and that is to be expected. So let's get back up on this road. We'll take a right turn in a second. In fact, we'll just drive through, why not? Make our life a little bit easier. And then, as you can see, I've got 2 Valtras up there in this. And we're going to just we're just going to go in turn and have a drive through. I've kind of got a really bumpy track and different ground textures. So, first thing is this forestry texture, which is still technically, you know, soft. It's not concrete or anything. It should have... it should be depressionable, if that's the word, if that's the right word. It should be able to be formed with a bit of ground formation, as you can tell from the back. But we'll go and check it out. Now we're going to be going over what is called animal mud. So I'll just quickly show you these textures so you can see for yourself what I've actually placed down here quickly. So we've got animal mud, what we're actually driving over now. Then we've got dirt, which is transitioning here. So that is dirt now. And then over there we've got some grass, but this is straw. And we're going to come back and finish off there. Basically what we're going to do is drive through this section. Right, so I've got a bit of an idea. Just trying to get through everything. And I've also made it really bumpy as well. But I want to have a look at the end just to show you the differences. Now that we're on the dirty area, it should have an effect. So you can see that I've got that gate area, but I want to go through this section and just do a bit of a loop. That's all. Even though we've already seen this just up there, it's going to change over time, hopefully with the weather as well. But we've just gone up and down it and then drive up here, back onto the concrete, which should have no, or the tarmac really, which should have no deformation. And then we're going to finish off by, we'll just take a loop here and go over this. And this is interesting. This should start to deform, as you can see. And the heavier the vehicle, the more you'll see them tyre tracks. And it's so impressive, that is. I think that's the best part. But there we go. That's that done. So, let's now try it with... We'll save the lighter one. We'll just keep doing this. Because we're obviously going to change weather, aren't we? So instead of doing all 3, I just want to try maybe in the field at the end when we've got some really heavy rain to see if it is changing. But this one's a massive tractor. You can see it's got a lot of weight to it. So what I want to do is kind of like still drive, but maybe just see the comparison of what we've already done over there. It's going to be difficult because I probably should have made it a little bit wider, but this will work. I mean, it doesn't look too much different except the actual tyre track, the size of the tyre that's been dropped down. But we've definitely got deformation, and if you've noticed, nothing's vanished as of yet. I mean, it's impressive, though. It really is. It's a certain game changer. And then what we'll go and do is we'll try and just... You know, we'll drive back, we'll have a walk around and just compare, and then we'll switch over to a bit of rain. And in this section, we'll try and just miss out the tyre tracks that originally happened over there. And there we go. Right, that should do the job. So let's kind of follow the route and see if there's a difference. So you can see the tyre track on that side. It definitely looks like it's made more of an indent than the smaller tyre track of the class. And it isn't just like a tyre track. You can see that it's actually sculpted that a little bit more defined than what you'd normally see if it was just a tyre track on the road, and especially over here on this mud. And it looks pretty cool, doesn't it? It definitely is an improvement. It's impressive. It is. There's not much difference between the weight, though, but it is, you know, they have defined that as something that will take effect. I mean, I could say that this definitely looks more different than the class. Yeah, this is definitely made more of a tire mod. But look at that. The straw looks so impressive that it can actually dent, like it can actually change the way the pile is. So that's pretty cool. But they don't look too much different, really. Just the size of the tyre. But it does look good. Like if you're working in the wet environment with rain, I think it looks pretty good then. So this is on the ploughed field. And you can see straight away that that's the class. And then that is the Valtra with the extra weight on it. And it's certainly changed the landscape of that ploughed field. There is some deformation there, as like on the transition, but then it just changes to an actual tyre track, which we'd be used to. So maybe it's because there's some still going on here. I don't know. But that is a bit of deformation on a surface that shouldn't be. So, but there isn't there as well. So it's a strange one. Maybe it's just, yeah, maybe there's a bit of an overlap or something. But yeah, that is pretty much what it looks like in dry conditions. Nice sunny day. But it still does deform the ground and also deform, you know, the soil texture out in a field. Right, let's make it rain. Let's get some heavy rain going, and then we'll have a look and see how different it is. Right, so now we've got the heaviest rain I can actually set. I don't know if there's going to be any heavier rain, but you can see the droplets, and we're going to have a look now and you know, just see how good it looks. I'm only going to use the heaviest tractor, but first I want to point out, because I think it is, you know, it deserves it. Not only the raindrops, but look at the tyres, look at the bodywork. It's super impressive. But yeah, we've got some heavy rain. So, only shame is, and I've said this before, I just don't understand why they've not put the rain effects on the window. They've missed the trick. There's nothing, no splashes or anything, which is a shame. But the bodywork looks outstanding, and so does the tyres having the rain effect on. You know, and if we, another thing is look at the roads. Like, look at that. I know this isn't a video about weather. Even that flash then of that lightning. I know this isn't about technically weather, but it's worth just checking out how it can look now. It does make you feel like the weather does have more of an effect. Right, so we want to stick away from basically what we've done before. Try and make, again, a different impression. So we'll stick to the left-hand side. Doesn't matter if we go over, if we go over the class, because we're going to sort that out. But so far, I'm not noticing too much of a difference here. It might make a difference in the field, but we'll find out. They're still all there. Nothing's, you know, disappeared. So let's do a bit of a loop here now. And this will be interesting to see if we pick up mud quite quick as well. So I'll do a bit of a longer drive. You can see we've got mud in the tyres already. It's building up quite quick there. Yeah, so currently the tyres are maxed out with mud, which is good to see, isn't it? I mean, that is insane. Let's slow it down so you can visualise that. That's mental. It is impressive. So you can clearly see that the rain has had a much quicker effect on getting the tyres all muddied. And it does look like it's made more of an indent over there, but we'll figure that out in a second. First things first, though, let me just get out and show you the tyres, because you're probably going to want to see them. Awesome. Alright, so back up to the road, and then what we should see is the mud start to disappear slowly. Because we're now, you know, not driving through the mud anymore. We're on the tarmac, and I can already tell that it's definitely better than it was. So, should we go check out the straw and see what that does when it's being rained on? Is there any difference? I don't think there's going to be, but we've got to confirm it and test it out. It doesn't look like it. And the one thing I have noticed as well, it's not rotting away, which is something I did hope for seasons of old. So far, after all the testing, it doesn't look like there is any change, unfortunately. But there we go. Let's have a bit of a walk around and we can see it. So, yeah, the rain's supposed to have an effect on the ground and then make a difference. But if I'm comparing that one to that one, it does look a little bit different, maybe, potentially, but not nothing too much to stand out. Really, like that one there is the old track, and then that one is the new track. So maybe it's a little bit darker, but to be honest, they both look the same. The thing that I'm happy about, though, is that it's sticking around. You can see that I've been up and down this kind of track that I've built. Even this section here looks quite busier. It looks impressive, really, and it's it's what we're after. Is a farm sim fan. So, I mean, that definitely looks like different. It looks almost really muddy. Yeah, the texture in the field has changed. It's got like little puddles in the tire tracks. And if you can just make that out, like there especially, there's like proper mud indent tire tracks. Yeah, the mud, it's like muddy wet, indented tire track. So yeah, the field definitely has a difference. And you can see that the ground deformation there on that is a lot deeper. A lot deeper, in fact, than over this section here. So even though it's gone wet because the rain's hit it and it looks it, check out the difference over here, that ground deformation in comparison to that section. Even though the ground texture is wet still, and it looks muddy, the depth of that is nowhere near what it is on this section going up and down when I came back down. But yeah, there's a patch over here especially, like this one. So, pretty cool, definitely. Right, let's see if we can set some snow on the ground, and let's have a bit of fun with that, because, you can imagine it's going to look pretty cool. And that's what it looks like now. The mud's kind of gone off. There's not much left, but there is a bit, especially in that tyre. There's a lot more in that. And then, obviously, this is just clean and just got the wet effect now. I mean, look at that. There's no snow yet on the ground, but can you not just tell the difference in the seasons? How we've just hit the winter months, how the contrast from that summer vibrancy, even the grass, everything. They've done an outstanding job this time, Giants have, for the visual effects of seasons. There's so many things we'd like to see within seasons. We've all said it, but you can't deny that looks better overall. Yeah, everything looks just barren, really barren. And if we go over here, is everything still... Oh, all the actual tracks are still there, even though we're in the barren months of winter. The one thing that might change... No, there's still some... Is that deformation still there? Yes, it is. Look, we've still got it here, but there's no wet effect on that anymore. So that is good, and that is as well. So we can keep an eye on this, because even when the snow's going to fall in a second, I'm going to set a load of snow out. Yeah, we can have a look. Now, I don't know if that's just gone down a bit, but I'd like to think that is a disappearing over time, but it's probably not, is it? So, yeah, bit of a strange one. But God, look at that. Like, absolutely incredible. Incredible, man. They've done such a good job visually on the game now. It's a massive contrast. So everyone that says it's just a reskin of 22, you're wrong. 100% you're wrong. Because how is that a reskin of 22? It almost looks like bloody Fallout. Right, let's set the snow and see what it looks like with a bit of snow on the ground. I just wanted to quickly jump in and show you this. I mean, it's incredible. Like, yeah, the roads just, well, absolutely well. And it's not like there's even a big layer of snow right now on the ground. There isn't. It's literally just snowing. The way the snow falls as well is such an improvement. Here we go. We're going to get some snow coming. You can see that it's making its way across the field. That's because I used the console command. And now we are in deep snow, like really deep snow. So I'm glad that happened just then. But, I mean, you can see the contrast of it moving across. It's obviously working it out. There's a lot of it. It's just a hell of a lot for it to process. I mean, is the road changing? I think it's staying the same on the road, which is a weird one, because are we supposed to clear off the roads and the tracks? That would be interesting to find out. Right, so it's passed through the water. And you can see that there is spaces here. I mean, this is incredible. Like, absolutely incredible. The contrast from what we get in FS20. I mean, you're right there, buddy. But no, the contrast to this in FS22 is insane. Ah, man. Brilliant. Right, let's just drive through this and have a look at what goes on here. I mean, in comparison to what we've had in previous games, can you even complain at this? Like, seriously? It is a game changer. And we are literally sliding a minute ago as well. It's very, it's so cool. It really is cool. You can just have fun driving around in the snow, can't you, really? Oh, man. It's, it's just a game changer. A game changer for me. And Giants have pretty much done what you'd expect. It's even difficult to drive in. I know before we used to slide around a little bit, but did we really, slide around this much? I don't think so. I'm very impressed with it. Very impressed. I mean, but yeah, that is ground deformation, everybody, in FS25. I mean, look at that. Because that's one of the bumps that I put in. You can see the bump that's happened there. It looks really good. It's like blended as well. Like, it almost looks a bit muddy, which is what you'd expect. But winter, I mean, yeah. It'd be good to do just a time lapse of going through the seasons for everybody, just to see what it looks like. I might actually do that as a quick video. And then you can see this is where the ground deformation happened originally. So it'd be interesting to see what that's like now. But God, I mean, yeah, I'm just super impressed with it. Super impressed. I don't know what else to say. I'm very, very content and very happy that Giants have added this in, and I think it looks better than expected. It actually does. And the ground deformation is going to play a vital part in pretty much everything we do in Farming Sim now. Yeah, super, super happy with it. Sound effects are great, and the visuals are great. The road, look at the farm. Yeah, the farm needs a bit of work. We've obviously got this going on. Is Grandpa gone inside? Yeah, he has. That's the first time I've not seen Grandpa outside. Let's actually look at the map just to see if it's because it's bloody cold. They've all gone inside, haven't they? They're like, nope, it's winter. I'm going in. Don't worry, Grandpa. We'll do the farming. And it just makes me laugh that little calf is just technically like submerged. I mean, is it struggling to walk because of that, or is it just that's how it's walking? I mean, send help for the calves. Honestly, I just, I don't know what to say. I don't know what else to say except wow. Like, wow. Honestly, just wow. Yeah, well done to Giants Software. They've added in something that's amazing. It's that simple, man. Not many times you can be speechless, but it's just everything, like the visuals of everything, like even the water on the ground there, the snow, the way it falls, the side of the roads, just all of it is everything you'd want it to be. Yeah, give the video a thumbs up, everybody, because I don't know what else to say to you. Right, so last thing, and I know this is technically not ground deformation right now, but the snow just is incredible. So we're going to try this out. We're going to have a bit of a play about with a snowblower. Probably a lot of people are interested to see that in action. So let's do this. Let's let's see what it's like when we start shifting snow and making tracks. Because you got to remember, we're still doing some ground deformation, aren't we? But yeah, mental. Absolutely mental. I will do a video soon where I'm just in a nice spot and I'll time lapse it through all the seasons and just, yeah, check out what the weather's like. I think that's probably a decent idea. But I think this is a perfect place for me to stop. You can see me doing a bit more ground deformation there in the snow with the fill types. It does look good how we can now, you know, do the fill type. And we can now also deform the fill type like the straw down there in the snow. It's going to mean that when you're driving over your swaths and grass, or if it's hay or straw, whatever it may be, yeah, we're going to see that now. Mental. Mental. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I'll see you in the next one. See you, everybody.